All right, what's going on? We got a lot of stuff going on. So be sure to listen to this video from the beginning to the end. I got some details for you. Number one, I have a mentorship program that's $25,000. You must answer some questions to be considered. And the Kingdom program is now $9,000. The monthly payment plan is $1,500. If you feel that you can convince me and email me, you can get in the Kingdom program for $4,500. But you got to email me. Links below. All right, so let's get off into it today. Why don't I ever ask women their body count? Let me tell you the story. During the Craigslist days, because I'm going to need pen and paper for this because I got to add up. Let's see. When I first started with Craigslist and I got really, really good at it, I was having sex with 4 to 10 women per month. So that averages out to 48 to 60 women a year. I did Craigslist for 15 years. So 600, we can say 750 to 850. After 750 women, I stopped counting. Now, what this did for me is gave me a very high degree of sexual confidence. Now, what do I mean by that? Virtually any woman I've been with, I've been able to make her orgasm. I've been able to make every woman that's been with me orgasm, and orgasm hard, because I've learned so much about sex, about women, about response cues. So I'm an extremely sexually competent man. Now, I never get into these conversations with what's your body count, whatever, because I really don't care. Now, incidentally, this is something that's really, really funny. The way that I am, the way that I present myself, I often attract women with extremely low body counts. It just happens. I mean, literally, the last ex, she was a super whore. I'll do a whole video about that. But typically, I would get women who, and it would come up in casual conversation because I wouldn't ask them this, like, well, I had this boyfriend, this and that. And they would usually be around between 4 and maybe 10 people. Typically, that's where they typically would be. Now, why did I get these women with very slim sexual histories, even though I don't care about their sexual histories? BDSM leadership. Once again, BDSM and leadership. When I get with a woman, I'm not trying to interrogate her. I'm not trying to fish her out. And I'm going to explain to you why her body count is so important to you. And I got a story for you with that. I just want to know if the woman and I can get along. We're friendly. We have good communication. We can talk. That's my goal. I've never asked a woman what her body count was. And one of the things that has emerged is I've developed maybe a sixth sense. I can tell if a woman is submissive. And like I said, time after time, the women I've gotten with had very low body counts without me interrogating them. Now, let me explain why you care about their body count. Let me talk about you. Comparison. You're worried that she has enough statistical evidence that she could compare your sexual performance to other men. That's why you're so concerned about her body count. It ain't about how many dicks she's had. It ain't about how many. It's like, well, she can really judge me if she's had a lot of sex and she's had. See, there's a lot of sex and there's a lot of good sex. A lot of women have sex, but a lot of women don't have good sex. Now, what is good sex? Good sex, the woman gets to come. A lot of women just don't come. They just don't. I remember I was dealing with this married chick, and I got my methodology, and this is why so many men are pissed off that I got rid of disruptive male. I got the Yippy Dog protocol, and I'm not going to explain it here, but the Yippy Dog protocol typically make any woman come, anyone, through penetration. And the Yippy Dog protocol has verbal commands, physical attributes, and so on. It's a triad of things I do. And I put the Yippy Dog on her, right? And she came so hard, and she literally and she was like, and she rolled over in the bed, and she was just like, that's never happened before. And I say, what has never happened before? She says, I just don't come. I have sex and, my husband, he'll be working really hard, but he's never made me come. You made me come in like 5 minutes. The yippy dog is very, very powerful. It's very, very powerful. And it's one of my special techniques. So, because I have a high degree of sexual competence, I'm not intimidated. Give you a good example. I was in a sex club, and there was this guy. He was a regular in the sex club. He was about 6'2", very muscular, and he had a big dick. And a lot of women like to try him because he had a big dick. I'm about to say something, and I'm not trying to be insulting. When you have a big dick, you fill a woman up, and you give her a different sexual experience. Not to say that if you have a smaller dick, you can't please her. There's ways you can do that. But when you have a big dick and you know what you're doing, oh my God, right? And this dude, he had a big dick, and he knew what he was doing because he was a sex club. He was very exhibitant, and then he fucked chicks and stuff and everything. Then I was in the sex club, and there was this other woman, and she was married and her husband, and I was just walking around, and I was a dom, and it's like, we hear you're a dom. My wife wants to be spanked by a real dom. I was like, does she really want to be spanked, or does she want to be toyed with? Because I don't play. And, got her, strapped her to the wheel and everything, and I had my little protocols and stuff. I wore her fucking ass out. Her ass was bruised up, red, back, and she was shivering because I whipped the shit out of her, right? Then later on, her and her husband, they were in the sharing and stuff, and they invited me back to her place, and I was like, I don't do the cuckold thing where the man will be in the room watching I don't do that. That's just not my thing. And I said, look, I'll fuck her, but you can't be in the room. And he's like, okay, normally this is how we do it, right? So I'm in there fucking her, and I put the yippy dog on her. She comes in like 3 minutes, and she starts screaming. And her husband, he comes in, he's like, well, what happened? What's wrong? She says, nothing. Oh my God, I've never come that hard before, right? And then we're talking, and she had sex with Mr. Spectacular, and he did not do it for her the way that I did it for her. Because, once again, I want to be honest. A big dick is very helpful, and if you know how to use it, it's extremely helpful. Now, if you have a smaller penis, there's many things you can do to make a woman come, and if you deploy the yippy dog, she'll become your best friend. She'll become your best friend. So I was able to give her greater sexual pleasure. This dude, his dick was bigger than mine. His dick was probably 3 inches bigger than mine. I didn't fucking care because I'm sexual confident. I go into it like, I'm going to win. I'm going to make her come. I'm going to make her toes twinkle, right? And I'm going to put it on her. So I don't really care if she had sex with another man or whatever, because once again, this is me, because I'm highly sexually competent. The average man can't fuck a chick like I can. It just can't. It doesn't have my skill sets, knowledge base, and reputation. And I have experience of having sex with hundreds and hundreds of women. They just can't compete. So I'm not worried if, Mr. Mandingo over here with the 12-inch. I salute Mr. Mandingo. Fuck them hoes. I don't really care. So because I have a high degree of sexual confidence, it doesn't faze me if she's had a lot of sex. But typically, my Tressie, she's not had a lot of sexual experience. She just hasn't. And that happens over and over again. Now, let me tell you about where I fucked up. And this is where I was going through a period of, I was making bad decisions. The car rental business was a bad decision. Selling my fucking house was a bad decision. I just made bad decision after bad decision. And I got with this chick who was a super whore. She was an alcoholic. She was a super whore. And I didn't know. And how I figured out the alcohol, I had this tequila in the cabinet, and the tequila levels would keep changing because she'd get in the middle of the night, she'd be drinking, right? And then once I started putting it together and realized what I was dealing with, it explained a lot of her behavior. It explained, because this chick, she would do threesomes. She tried to have me do a threesome with her and a coworker, and I just wouldn't do it. And then A super whore will betray you easily, easily. And she started cheating on me, and then I kicked her out the bedroom. And there's more to the story, and it's going to be quite huge. It's going to be explosive when I tell it, because I'm not going to tell it all now. But I was dealing with a super whore, and when you're dealing with a super whore, I don't care how good you are. And this is the thing, I would make her come, and she would like freak. The first few times we had sex, and she came, she freaked out. She was like, I normally don't come, right? Because I put the yippy dog on her, and there was just certain ways, just the way that my anatomy worked, and it just tickled her bones. But when you're dealing with a super whore, I don't care. You could be a good man, you could be faithful, you could be straight up. It doesn't matter. They will fucking cheat. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you do. They will fucking cheat. And that's a group of women that, as a man, you need to be worried about. And you can ask them about their body count. They will lie. They're not going to tell you the truth. You're just going to have to observe their behaviors. And typically, super whores cannot keep female friends. For some reason, there's something with them where they just cannot. Because she would like go through female friends like boom, 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 boom. And it's this vicious cycle. Now, if a woman can't keep a female friend for a long time, that should tell you something. More likely, they're emotionally unstable. They have other issues. But she was emotionally unstable, pathological liar, super whore, and she would just cheat on you in a heartbeat. Now, this behavior started in the third year. The first 2 years, I got love bombed. She used to write me love letters and all this other stuff. I really thought this chick was deeply in love with me. It was a lie. It was a lie. But once again, I was off. My game was off. And I didn't understand what I had allowed in my life. You know, she didn't have a job. I moved her into me. I paid to have her car shipped. I took care of her. And a super whore is someone you could take care of. You can do a lot of good things for. They have no conscience. They will fuck you over. They will cheat on you, and they will have no regrets, none whatsoever. And I found out she was cheating because I sat there and I watched her on her phone, and I guessed her password, and I got in her phone, and I saw the truth. I saw who she was fucking, who she was talking to, took screenshots. Then she went to work, and she came home and said, "We need to talk about our relationship, because I think you're a super whore." That was my exact text. "You are a super whore." And she's like, "How'd you get in my phone?" Because she knew I went in her phone. And I told her. And then she started crying and stuff. And I'm like, "Look, you're not going to be in a relationship with me and go out here and be fucking all these other dudes. So at this moment, you're kicked out the bedroom. You can sleep out here on the sofa. And I'll just, once this lease is up, you go your way, I go my way." And then some stuff that happened that I'll talk about in the future that's really, really fucked up. But that was one of my greatest sexual mistakes because my game was off. And I was making bad business decisions. I made bad housing decisions, like selling that house in Sandy Springs and moving to Buckhead. It's kind of like some of my, it's like I love the place I used to live in, but my neighbors, they were fucking trash. They were fucking trash. But so even being a sexually confident person, having a high degree of sexual skills, you could still get screwed over by a super whore. Now, this is the woman that a lot of guys talk about in their YouTube videos and high body counts and all this other stuff. This is the woman they talk about. This is not the average woman. The average woman is not a super whore. The average woman, let me see, kind of get in here. Because one of the things I did was I created a photo album of, all right, come on, here we go. All right, so let's go with her, right? She is not a super whore. She had limited sexual partners. She was actually a really good girlfriend, and I had a lot of fun with her, right? She had very low sexual number. This one, very low sexual number. Ideally, this one had an extremely low sexual number. The shit was shocking because she had only had sex with 3 guys, and they were all long-term relationships. This one, she was bordering on super whore territory. This one, very low sexual number, really good girl. Let's see. This one was an emerging person. She wasn't quite, I don't know, she could be a super whore now. When I was with her, she was kind of going through it. But one of the things that I noticed, maybe 4 or 5 sexual partners. And one of the things I noticed is the ones who had low numbers were much easier to get along with. They didn't have all that drama. So I guess that was just the truth. This one, very low numbers, a lot of fun. So I just didn't have these issues with the women that had low body counts. So I can understand why you want a woman with a low body count, but the primary reason isn't her body count. It's because she can sexually compare you to other men, and that shit scares the fuck out of you. And like me, I don't worry about it. I just don't worry about it. So this is why I just don't ask women their body count. And this is how you can kind of ask a woman her body count without asking her about her body count. It's like, when you get in relationships, what's your dating style? Do you like meet men and get in relationships, or do you have a lot of dates and you're just out there? The way they answer that question will tell you a lot. Women with low body counts typically don't do a lot of casual dating. They'll meet someone they like and they'll turn it into a relationship, or they will leave the guy if he doesn't want a relationship. Super whores, they will date everything under the sun. They would be all kinds of stuff they will do. And you will begin to see and understand what you're dealing with once you start paying attention. Now, fortunately for me, I've only had one super whore in my life. One. Because most of the time, I was sexually competent, I was on my game, I was paying attention. This period where I was just making bad decision after bad decisions, I slipped. And it cost me. It cost me. But now, I'm back on my game. I'm back in my game, I'm back in my frame, and guess what? I have a woman with a low body count who absolutely fucking adores me. And I'm telling you, this kind of goes back to burning desire. It was Tressy's ideal to have sex for the first time. It was her ideal, not mine, it was hers. And we had an adult conversation about sex. It's like, what do you like? She told me, and I told her what I like. And ever since I told her what I like, every time we get in bed, she does exactly what I want. She makes me so happy. So happy. All right, so that's the thing. If you're asking a woman about her body count, it's not about her body count. It's about your sexual inadequacy and your lack of experience and her ability to compare and contrast you. All right, so go ahead and get the book, How to Date the Woman You Would Marry. Links below. It ain't cheap either, but I got a question for you. If a book that costs $50 can lead you down the path where you meet a woman that you can marry, a woman that adores you, a woman that you can build a good life with, that's pretty cheap. Links below.